I am sorry that can't you understand? Me, my squibbler, it does not work. Again, Israel them due to in Lebanon, and Lebanon them have t not any ball real, the have the ball in Lebanon is siege, and Iran. Bully Israel them can't bully in Palestine, more out to Lebanon. Israel isn't just doing double taps anymore. They're doing triple taps now. And today they triple tapped day workers and ambulances in the south of Lebanon. After an initial Israeli strike in Med Sudan, 3 separate rescue teams were sent to the scene to try and help survivors. And Israel deliberately targeted and attacked every single one of them. First, multiple teams from the Islamic Health Association arrived on the scene. Several ambulances, Israel deliberately targeted them with airstrikers. 1 first responder was murdered, and 4 others were wounded. Then the Rasulullah Scout Association and the Nebadia first responders arrived on the scene. First responders were already being targeted, and they showed up anyway to help. And then, sure enough, they were also targeted by Israeli drone strikes. 2 more men were murdered, and 3 others wounded in these attacks. The Israeli army is killing civilians, and then killing every single person who shows up to help them. And they get away with it by preemptively claiming that Hezbollah is using these ambulances for cover. They claim that medical vehicles are being used to transport fighters and weapons, and they offer no proof. And nobody ever seems to challenge them on this either. The Lebanese authorities and health organizations have repeatedly denied these allegations, and human rights organizations have noted that Israel frequently makes these claims without providing any sort of credible evidence. They simply make the claim attack, and no one checks them on, and it has created an atmosphere of violence towards Lebanese health officials. 91 health workers have been killed. There have been over 120 attacks on ambulances. As of April 2026, first responders are sleeping in their ambulances, miles away from anyone they care about, because they know that they're targets, and they don't want the people that they care about to be targeted. Medical personnel are supposed to be protected under international law, and instead, they're being killed in triple taps, another war crime that nobody seems to care enough to stop. Israel isn't just doing double tap anymore. They're doing triple tap style. And today, they triple tapped aid workers and ambulances in the south of Lebanon after an initial Israeli strike. In at least one country is finally pushing back on weapon shipments to Israel. Belgium seized 2 shipments of British military components bound for Israel last month. And they were able to do this because they recently banned aircraft from carrying weapon shipments to Israel, and additionally banned Israel from using their airspace. Last month, multiple British and Irish websites and the Palestinian youth movement alerted authorities in Brussels of a violation of this ban. A shipment traveling from Britain to Israel using Liège Airport. The shipments were seized and searched immediately upon arrival at the airport by a specialized engineer who discovered fire control systems and spare parts for a military aircraft that hadn't been declared to the Belgian government. It was an illegal weapon shipment, and Belgian authorities have opened a criminal investigation into the affair. And allegedly, one of the companies involved in the illegal shipment was an American aerospace company with factories in the UK. The company in question is Move, and they manufacture actuators for aircrafts used to train Israeli pilots. And allegedly, there have been at least 17 consignment illegal shipping from Move, starting in the UK through Leith Airport, that eventually ended up in Israel. This is an American company using a British address to illegally ship weapons components through Belgium to Israel. It kind of sounds like they were hoping they wouldn't get caught, especially considering the British government suspended arms export licenses to Israel on the ground that there was a clear risk they would be used to violate international law in Augusta. And whether or not the British government is actually upholding that is a separate issue. But this American company tried to circumvent the suspension of these export licenses by going through Belgium, and Belgium was not having it. At least one country is finally pushing back on weapon shipments to Israel. Belgium seized 2 shipments of British military components bound for Israel last month, and they were able to do this because they banned aircraft from carrying weapon shipments to Israel, and additionally banned Israel from using their airspace. Last month, multiple British and Irish websites and the Palestinian youth movement alerted authorities in Brussels of a violation of this ban. A shipment traveling from Britain to Israel using Liège Airport. The shipments were seized and searched immediately upon arrival at the airport by a specialized engineer who discovered fire-control discounts and spare parts for a military aircraft that hadn't been declared to the Belgian government. It wasn't illegal weapons. IDF killed a 1-year-old little girl in Lebanon after watching an airstrike on their father's funeral. They killed Salim Said, a little girl who hadn't even reached her 2nd birthday, and 3 other members of her family when they launched bombs on her father's funeral in the family village. Her father was killed just days earlier when Israeli airstrikes directly targeted their home. They killed the man of the house, and then they came back to his funeral to kill the rest of the family. The family went up to his casket to read prayers for him. When the Israeli bombs started dropping, they couldn't even mourn in peace. Her grandfather said she was born in the war, and she died in the war. Where are the human rights? A child is a child. If it were in Israel, they would jump up. Are we not people? Are we not humans? Are we not like them? An entire family is mourning, and the Israeli military says we don't have enough details to investigate the incident. You killed a man. He killed his family. You killed his little girl. But apparently you don't have enough information to even investigate the incident. This family is going to be forgotten about, and there won't be any justice for this little girl, for the father she didn't get to know, and there won't be any justice for her grieving mother, who now has to live without both of them. The IDF killed a 1-year-old little girl in Lebanon after the